All right, so the first lesson that we're going to deal with is basically establishing the grip. So the first thing that we want to do is want to go ahead and establish that grip, get our hand up as high as we can. I want to see a wrinkle in the back. My support hand is going to come in and cover up all of this extra space. I want to get this thumb in alignment with my wrist locked out and my other thumb biting down over the top. So I should have my thumbs pointing at the target and my index finger pointing at the target. From here, I'm going to point out, I want to look down at the ground, I'm going to look up, and I'm going to see if I have side alignment. If I do not have side alignment, I'm going to fix my master grip, look down, look up until I have side alignment. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is once we establish master grip, I'm going to start establishing my shooting platforms. So from here, I've got good side alignment. This is my extension position. This gives me the greatest degree of accuracy, but it also increases my danger area to the greatest degree. So from here, this is my extension position. I'm going to bring my elbows in. I want to make sure that I'm not flaring my elbows. I want to bring my elbows in and index that pistol right about at the level of my solar plex here. From here, this is my compressed shooting position. Back out to extension, still have side alignment, back to compression. Should have good kinesthetic alignment here if I look at my sights and I look at where I'm aiming here. All right, so building on all that, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put that pistol out, still have good master grip, still have good side alignment. From here, I'm going to come into compression right at my solar plex level, elbows not flared. From here, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my hand to my chest and I'm going to bring that pistol back to a retention position. That area that I used to cover up with my support hand, I am now going to use that area to cover up with my chest. So my elbow comes up high, that muzzle should be oriented down. If you look at the orientation, it should be basically crossing my center line right about maybe 2 feet in front of me. Right here is my retention position. High elbow, tight trap. From here, support hand out of the way. All right, so still from here, have good side alignment at extension, coming back to compression, elbows not flared, but I have index points on my chest and my forearms where my arms should rest. The pistol should be right about at the level of my solar plex. From here, I bring my support hand out of the way. I bring the pistol back to retention, indexing that open side of the grip up as high on my chest as I can, keeping my thumb flagged so that the slide can reciprocate. From here, all I'm going to do is turn the pistol down and place in the holster, still maintaining my master grip. So now I know what the pistol should feel like in my hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find that feel once again. So I establish that master grip from the holster, hand is up in a safe place. From here, I'm going to draw the pistol up, come to retention. I should be oriented back out on that downward angle, traps up pinched tight. Open side of the weapon is indexed on my chest. From here, pistol slides across, comes to compression, elbows not flared, pistol resting at the height of the solar plex. From here, I'm punching up to my extension position. Sight alignment should be good. If it's not, then you did not find a good master grip from the holster. So you'll repeat the whole first process back again, index back in the holster. Find the master grip, retention, compression, extension, good side alignment. All right, so now that we have the mechanics down, what we're going to do is we're going to start actually implementing some firing into each one of the platforms. So from here, hand comes back, I find that, come up to retention, compression, extension, side alignment, break my shot. Compression, retention, back to the holster. Do it again. Continue to repeat the process. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find that next shooting platform at compression. So once again, hand comes back, establish that grip, retention, compression. I should be able to see where my shots are indexing based on my kinesthetic alignment, based on my hips and my shoulders. From here, reholster, one more time, retention, compression, break my shot, come back in. So the last platform that we're working on is we're working on retention. So once again, come back, hand in a safe place, establish that master grip, come up to retention, break my shot. You should be indexing right about the center of the bag, reholster. One more time, establish that master grip, hold a retention, index on the body, should be impacting about center line. So the next component we're going to work on is our fight stance. So from here, whatever my shoulder width is, I'm going to take a half step forward, a half step back, keeping my hips square to my opponent. Elbows come in, using those radial bones to defend myself against the target. Hands up near the face, elbows in tight. From here, this is my fight stance. When I go to execute my draw, hand comes back to my chest, I establish the master grip, come back to retention, compression, extension, come back the same way, reholster, back to my fight stance. So the next thing that we can start working on is from that fight stance, going ahead and squaring off to the bag. You're going to establish a range. In this case, we're going to use an extension draw. So from here, I'm in my fight stance. I go ahead and come back. So once again, building on that same lesson, establish our fight stance, elbows in tight. This time we're going to shoot from the compressed position. So from here, come back. Back to the fight stance. So now we're going to move to the retention position. So once again, in our fight stance, elbows in tight, hands near your face. From here, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do what's called building a frame. When we build a frame, what we're looking to do is from our fight stance, I'm looking to shift 80 to 90% of the weight onto my forward leg, driving into the target. Whether you drive in with an elbow or drive in with a hand is entirely based on your distance to the target. So from here, I want to be driving in so that my butt is in front of my feet and my head is in front of my butt. This should form a straight line from my neck all the way down to my rear foot to where I'm driving into the target. So from here, driving into the target. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to institute that frame, and we're going to incorporate the draw into the process as well. So from our fight stance, I'm squaring off at the target. From here, support hand comes up, builds half helmet. Primary hand goes back and establishes that master grip, comes up to retention, break my shot, and go ahead and reholster, back to my fight stance. Do it again. One more time. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat that whole process, making sure that we transition in between shooting platforms, building our frame into the target to be able to drive him off, and instituting our draw on the whole process. So from here, from my fight stance, all right, so now we're going to start to incorporate striking. From here, I'm in my fight stance. I'm going to go ahead and take a half step forward with my left foot, bringing my left hand out to jab, making sure that my chin is dropped below my shoulder and my right hand is still staying up at my face. Stepping back, once again. Stepping back. So from the fight stance, now we're going to institute the cross into it. So from here, taking a half step forward to close the distance with my left foot, driving off my right foot, turning that punch into the target, keeping my chin below my shoulder, making sure that my left hand is still covering up my jaw on the other side. Coming back, stepping in. back to the face. So now we're going to institute a 1-2 combination. It's going to be a left hand jab and a right hand cross. As I step out with that jab, as it starts to return back to my face, the right hand is passing it midway, back and forth, like so. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use our strike combination to set up our upward elbow into that defensive half helmet to help us facilitate the draw. So from here, fight stance, stepping forward, left, right, support elbow, hand comes back to the pistol, establishes master grip, pulls to retention, we're in our frame, break our shot. One more time, left, right, support elbow. So the next part of the drill that we're going to do is we're going to utilize another individual. This will help me when he is closing distance on me. So from here, I go ahead and I get in my fight stance. He starts approaching. I draw. Building my frame. He backs out. So one more time. We're in here. Fight stance. I draw. All right, so now incorporating strikes into it, what we're going to do is we're going to look at an opponent basically departing from us. So from here, I'm in my fight stance. I go ahead and I start throwing my strike, my 1-2 combination. He goes departing from me. I access my pistol and I engage. So one more time. Comes up. I'm in my fight stance. I strike. All right, so now dealing with an aggressive attacker, I go, I set up, I get in my fight stance, I start to lay my strikes on and he doesn't depart. Build my frame. One more time. I'm in my fight stance, I throw my strikes, build my frame. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to allow our attacker to dictate the speed and the violence of the fight. He's going to go ahead and start to come in. From here, I'm going to build my frame. And gradually what we want him to be able to do is increase the level of force and speed at which he hits us with based on how the shooter is performing. So from here, he starts coming again. Now he comes faster and harder. So boom. The object being to get the shooter more acclimated with dealing with gradual increases in levels of stress.